All right. Hey guys, I'm Nabil Khan, and this is the final presentation, the final video that I'm submitting for the risk spectrum, the project that I decided to do for ETH India Fellowship. I've been a part of the Gwei track for 8 weeks, right? This is the final week, eighth week. It's been an awesome, 2 months, and I've learned a lot, right? Especially from a mentor and stuff. So yeah, there you go. I've deployed the factory contract and the necessary things. Let me just paste it here, and then we'll get right into the demo. All right. So let's go to the homepage. This is the homepage for Risk Spectrum, right? There are two things you can do once you've arrived at the homepage. You can create a risk spectrum and you can go check out, play around, or invest in some of your the already existing risk spectrums. Now, the create page is something that I'm building on right now. There are certain what do you call? There are certain bugs that I'm facing right now, and I'll fix them in some time. But yeah, so let me just focus on various risk. So this is one of the these are the risk spectrums that already exist. They're deployed on using scripts itself. So the investing token is DAI, the protocols I have in Compound, right? Same on three different instances. So I'll just right. So now once you've reached the risk spectrum of one particular type, we can do two things. We can have a protocol. We have a protocol page and we have the exchange page. In the case of the protocol page is where you pull in your DAI tokens and you get your safe bets and your better false tranches. And your exchange is where the tranches that you got minted, you play you vary the amount that you have of each type of tranches, and correspondingly your risk exposure to those type of investments vary, right? And once your tranches that you finally got, you've decided on those that okay, fine, I want this much, or you want to change later on. So it's decided once the investment period is over, you can burn your tranches and get the results back and get your payouts back, right? So as of now, let's just go to the protocol and mint some DAI, right? So let's just deposit some DAI and mint some tranches, right? So yeah. Right, as you can see, I invested 10 DAI. I got 5 safe bets and 5 better falls. And this is the period where the user will come and deposit their investing token. And just for this, I've just kept for reference, right? So as you can see, the block timestamp is less than S value. That means there's still the pooling in time is still there. And once it crosses that, there'll be the investment period where the risk spectrum will use the pool and DAI tokens, invest into RBN compound, get ADA and CDA, and it will observe the performance, right? So in the meantime, since I've gotten some tranches, I can create the initial liquidity pool of the exchange for this particular risk spectrum, right? So let me just, let's say if I want to pool in 1.5 safe bets and 3 better falls, right? Makes sense, right? Safe bets should be much more expensive than better falls because they're more likely of profitable, right? They're more likely profitable. They have higher payouts in some instances, right? Right. So this is the initial liquidity pool. All right. So this has been it. Right. So I've gotten 1.5 LP tokens and three and a half safe bets and two better falls, right? Moving on, I think so. Protocol. Yeah, now it's in the investment period. Now, the invest function call, using the invest function call, this particular spectrum will take the pool and DAI token, invest into RBN compound, and get CDA and ADA. Ideally, this should be done using some automation feature like chaining keepers, and the gas should be paid by the contract itself. But in this case, I'm working on mainnet folks, so I can't exactly use chaining keepers. So I've made this function call to be using the front end itself. Right. So the invest function call is successful. So what has happened up till now? right? I've pulled in some DAI tokens, 10 DAI tokens. I've gotten some tranches in return. The risk spectrum has even taken those pooled in DAI tokens and invested into Aave component and gotten A DAI and C DAI in return. And I've also created, me as the user, I've also created some of the initial liquidity in the DEX for this particular risk spectrum. Now, what happens if I want some more tranches in the middle of the investment period? I can do that, but there's a catch. I would not exactly get the same amount of safe bets and tranches, safe bet tranches and better fall tranches that I did initially before the investment period started. There should be a difference because the DAI that you get per tranche is different, right? There has been some interest which might have been accrued, right? So click on it and we'll see that we'll see the difference once this call is successful, right? So right, it's a very small difference. That's because our observing period, investment period, is very small. It's about 2 to 3 minutes, but it'll definitely be significant when our investment period is like, let's say, 30 days or so, right? Anyways, so yeah, let me just check. The block timestamp is almost about to cross T1, right? So in the meantime, I can play around with the amount of safe and better for tranches that I have. Let's say if I want to swap some of my better falls for safe bets, right? Let's say if I want to give in two better falls and get how many of a safe bets, right? That means I want to better my portfolio, right? This is definitely going to cost me something. It's going to cost me better falls. Once we've done this, so we'll be able to check that I've gotten one safe bet, around one safe bet, and some of this and two of my better falls have been gone. It will go to the protocol. Hopefully, right. So now the investment period has been completed. Now it's time to make the Davis call. Now Davis call is the function call which the risk spectrum will use to get back the die, right? To burn like to get back the die back, right? And there are four cases. I'll explain the four cases once the Davis call is successful, right? Right. So the Davis call has been successful. So there are four cases, right? The first one being profitable and liquid, second one being not so much of loss making and liquid, third one being loss making liquid, and fourth one being illiquid case. What does liquid and illiquid mean? Liquid and illiquid in this sense means that in the case liquid is that both ADA and CDI, once I've given it back, I've actually gotten proper die in return, right? I've once I've withdrawn my die, I have gotten my die. And in the case of illiquid, maybe the die was called might have not been successful, right? Or maybe it's the protocols have become illiquid, one of those, right? So I don't get my die in return, but I have the interest bearing tokens at hand. Either one or both of those, right? And based on that, the payouts or whatever priority is to be decided changes for safe bets and better fall. The first one, there's no difference, right? It's the most ideal case in the sense that the amount of die I have gotten die successfully, the amount of die that I've gotten is more than the amount that I invested. The In the second case is where things a little different. The amount of die I have gotten die successfully, but the amount of die that I received was more than half of the die that I invested, but less than the original amount that I invested. In this case, if either Aave and compound are profitable, then the profits plus half the amount of the total die that I invested would go to safe bets. So it would be the total payouts for safe bets, right? And the rest of the remaining die would be the total amount for better fault, right? In the sense that if Aave and compound, if none of them are profitable, but the net amount was more than half the die that I invested, the half of the original amount that I invested in combined into Aave and compound would go to safe bets, and the remaining right would go to better falls. Third one is the case where I've gotten die successfully. The amount of die that I have received is less than half of that I originally invested. In that case, the total amount of die token that I have received would actually go completely to the total safe bets, right? The total payout of safe bets is equal to the die that I have. Better of all tranche tokens would not get anything. And the fourth one being the last one is where illiquid, right? Is going to have either one of those interest bearing tokens or both of them. right? In this case, my payouts will be a mixture of either DAI and those interest-bearing tokens, or just interest-bearing tokens. So there is to create the priority, there is a period for when only safe bets are allowed to get their payouts back, right? Only safe bets are burnt and allowed to get their payouts back. After this period, both of those safe bets and bearer falls can be done. But this way, there is a priority created between safe bets and bearer fall, right? So I think so. The time is about to cross. Ideally, it should have crossed. Let's see. Let's see. Right, 164. There's still a little bit amount of time, right? So we'll just wait for some time. See if I just pass in some transactions and times. Right. So block timestamp has crossed the T2, and now it's in the case, and now it's in the time period where people can actually get their payouts back. I have about 9.5 safe bets and 5 bearer falls. In this case, I'll just, and it's in the liquid case, right? So I'll just claim all of the DAI tokens that I get, that I can, and I burn all my tranche tokens that I have presently, right? So as you can see, the claim all was successful, and I would have gotten some DAI in return. I have 0 safe bets and 0 bearer falls. Now, for completeness, I'll even burn all of the amount of tokens that I have, LP tokens, and get the remaining amount of safe bets and bearer falls. So yeah, I've got like half safe bet and 5 bearer fall. It's a very skewed ratio, but yeah. So the safe bet is like 10 times more, uh, 10 times more expensive than bearer falls. So we'll go to the protocol and we'll claim for this as well, and we'll complete the final presentation. All right, so I've got 0 safe bets and 0 bearer falls. That has been it. This has been the final presentation. So yeah, to check out my whole progress up till now, feel free to check out my tweets. Right, I've written an article for each week that I've in this fellowship on Mirror. And if you want to talk more about this protocol, if you want to extend it more, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter, LinkedIn, or any form of social media that's present on my link tree. So yeah, thanks.